Nicole Howell. I'm the Executive Director for Ombudsman Services of Contra, Costa, and Solano. Elder abuse is any time that someone who is 60 plus is the victim of a crime, be it financial, verbal, psychological, physical, sexual abuse. Any times that their boundaries have been violated and that there is a negative outcome. I think that it sometimes depends on cognitive ability and where someone's at. And so oftentimes in early stages of dementia, I tend to see a lot of people who are the victim of financial abuse. They are still managing their own affairs, but they begin to not be able to discern as much around sort of fraudulent activities, and they're often the victim of someone either attempting to extort money from them or property or otherwise manipulate their finances. As people tend to progress in their process with dementia, those sometimes tend to change. When someone is more in the middle stage, I see that they're likely the victim of a physical abuse, either by a family member or a private caretaker. Oftentimes out of frustration and inability of how to care for someone and deal with their agitation. And then sometimes when they're in later stages, I see true just neglect. A family member or a caregiver is unable to manage their day-to-day functions in a way that is life-giving and affirms their dignity, and they tend to neglect and ignore that person more.
My name's Natalie Olias. I'm a navigator with the Central Family Justice Center. Elder abuse is very prevalent in Contra Costa County. In the last year, there were roughly a little over 3,000 calls to report elder abuse to Adult Protective Services. The abuse ranges from physical and emotional abuse to financial abuse or some type of neglect. The most frequent elder abuse that's reported is financial abuse.
My name is Shirley Crone. I've got two jobs. Number one, I am a senior assembly member with the California Senior Legislature, where I write bills mostly about financial abuse. My second job is president of the Advisory Council on Aging for Contra Costa County. So anything that anybody can get their hands on, whether it's a retirement account, a credit card, or whatever. The ones that are most prevalent are things like the lottery scam, which has been around for a very long time. Telemarketing, the robocalls that come in are an absolute nuisance to just about everybody. And there's ways to, deal with that, but it's still a nuisance. IRS scams, big, huge issue right now. I think education is a way to make the public aware of first of all, what it is and what they can do to prevent being a victim of any crime having to do with their, finances.
My name is Ryan Wagner. I'm a Deputy District Attorney in Contra Costa County, and I work in the Elder Abuse Unit. On a physical abuse front, it's extremely challenging because oftentimes the charged defendant is someone who's related to the victim in the case, and so the victim doesn't want to prosecute. They don't want to change their living situation. They don't want to see their adult son or daughter incarcerated. They don't know what will happen if they go forward with this. Will their financial situation change? And because of that, it makes it difficult from our perspective to prosecute. Also, on a financial side, those cases are tough to prosecute because you have victims who oftentimes suffer from dementia, and as a result, when it comes down to the question of did you consent to that expenditure, or did you consent to her using the money for that purpose or writing that big of a check to your caretaker, oftentimes their memory is gone and they don't remember what they said or didn't say. And so maybe they consented to it, but did they really have the capacity to consent? It makes it a very difficult question. In some ways, elder abuse is years behind domestic violence in the way in which jurors and judges and people understand it. I think everyone understands that in a domestic violence situation, it's not unusual for someone's partner to not want to cooperate with prosecution. People get that. I think people understand that now, and they almost expect that reaction. In elder abuse cases, I don't think we're there yet, and I don't think people realize and recognize why someone who's an elderly victim may not want to cooperate with prosecution.
Contra Costa Elder Abuse Prevention Project is actually a groundbreaking collaborative in the San Francisco Bay Area that seeks to connect partners, public and private, in a way that will actually come around, not only prevent abuse and educate the community, but that when it's happened, our partners will be able to refer to other partners that they have a warm relationship with and support the individual and their families.